So when I first started vacationing with your family, I remember, I think we were taking a car ride somewhere. I don't know where we're going, but I remember the car ride was just
Like we were quiet. Nobody was talking.
no one was talking.
Well, your family doesn't stop talking.
Yes,
Like
that's accurate.
silence makes them uncomfortable.
That is now I will say that is true, especially with my mother, and I love her. But if there's silence, she'll start humming, and she doesn't think anyone else can hear her hum. And I'm always like, "Mom, we can all hear you humming." And I was like, "Oh, you can hear me?" And I'm like, "Yes, we can hear you." It's pretty shocking and amazing when you think of the whole concept of getting married and building a family. I always thought, like, I remember as a kid being kind of astounded by the fact that, okay, I'm going to live my entire life with my parents and like my brothers and my siblings. And then one day I'm going to go out there. I'm going to find a complete stranger who I have no idea who they are or their background or what they've been doing with their life. And I'm going to join my life with their life and then start my own family. Like, why would I care about this stranger? Like, who are they to me? It's kind of weird.
Is it?
You don't think it's a weird concept?
I mean, I guess when you think about it like that. Yeah,
Like-
it's
like-
a
like-
little strange.
Like, take it in any other scenario. Like, if you were to say to someone, like, hey, you're going to go to, I'm trying to think of, like, you're going to go to, like a college. You're going to have this classroom and this teacher for your whole life, and then you go into the workplace and you change it. I guess we do it in a lot of different ways.
We do it all the time. I don't know why it's so weird.
Because it's like your family. I just feel like it hits on a different level.
It does. And like you might choose this person, but you don't
But your
necessarily.
family might not like that person. No, what are you going to say?
No, I was gonna say like you don't always like choose the family. It's kind of like you get the family, and thankfully, I think we've been blessed with really good families on both sides. They're just different.
But like it's like going like you're buying the car and you're getting everything inside the car. Or it's like an auction sale or an estate sale where you're like you buy this wardrobe and you get everything inside it. You might not want it, but you're getting everything with it. Like when you marry someone and take them in, you're getting their families.
I feel like you're very negative about this. It should be a positive thing.
Oh, I'm just stating what it is. It is a positive thing. It could be great.
Yeah, there could be a treasure inside
blessed.
there.
It could be gold to blooms.
Gold to blooms.
Why not?
Gold to blooms.
But I mean, like you were saying, we've both been very blessed. Not everyone's been so blessed.
No, not some people have complicated families, and
However,
nothing tests the best family relationship than family vacations.
Family vacations are a very unique. It's a very unique opportunity to really get to know someone.
Yes,
You're diving deep because there's all this personal time, and the time never ends. Like there's not separation at times.
Do you remember like going on each other's family's first vacation together? Because I believe we were dating / engaged. Like when we went on, like I went on vacation with your family, and you went on vacation with my family after we got engaged. Do you remember? Like, oh my goodness, our families are so different, and they vacation so differently.
But that's just the tip of the iceberg of the differences, I feel.
Yeah.
And so I think what we're hoping to do today is to uncover some of those big family differences, and maybe you at home listening will be like, this is a great conversation for me to have with the person that I'm dating, to kind of know what you're walking into, which is important.
I think so, but I think this is more of a comedic take on the differences for our families.
Let's put a disclaimer out there before we move forward.
We
to
love
our families. We love you.
We love you.
We love you all. But we're gonna do it.
You guys are different.
You're very different. So should we
it.
dive in?
Yeah, you first.
Okay.
What's your first thing that you've noticed that's super different about our family versus your family?
The love for food. Now, I have never encountered, and
your family is like the lack of food.
We could talk about that in a moment. But Kaylin's whole family loves food, and I dare say love is not a strong enough word. Is obsessed. Is actually fueled. Like their life is fueled by food. Now I should have known this because Kaylin loves food.
You just didn't realize it transcended beyond me.
Everyone in your family, with the exception of your stepdad, God love him, who understands me sitting there being like, I can appreciate this food, but I'm not obsessed with it. But let me
Yes.
let me
Okay,
talk
that's
through
different.
let me
Yes.
define what this is first, and how it really came out on the most recent vacation that we took with your family. So we took a vacation with our family. We're out to dinner one night because you're on vacation. You're likely eating out because you
And
don't always have a kitchen available.
and our family, like the vacation revolves around meal times too.
So let's talk about the agenda
Yes.
first. The agenda for any vacation with Kaylin's family
Good
begins
morning,
with good morning
breakfast.
breakfast. And
Yeah.
then there's a gap of time, not that long, maybe a few hours so, and then the next
Lunchtime.
big moment in the agenda is lunch. And then again there's a gap of time, not that long, and then the next big moment is dinner. And so there's 3 square meals a day without fail.
Your family has 0 square meals a day. I have to pack snacks. Okay, we'll talk about that later.
But now we're sitting at the dinner table, and this came out most recently. We're sitting at the dinner table, and we're kind of ordering, I would say family style. Like, we're getting different entrees and appetizers.
But it's like strategic.
So, okay, that begins to, thus begins the conversation. When they go to order dinner, it's not just like, oh, I want to try that, I'm going to try this, and like, okay. They're like, what are you ordering? No, what are you going to order? Are you going to order this? Because if you're not going to order that,
ordering?
I'm ordering this. And like, if you want, you can have a piece of it.
Do you want to share? Are we sharing? Are you having a bite?
Are you having a bite, or are you going to eat the whole thing? Like, or it's like, listen, I'm eating more of this than you probably think I'm going to, so you should probably order your own. And it is an actual discussion and strategic conversation that feels like I'm at the Battle of Waterloo, talking about where the armies are going to move and in what direction and how and why, talking about how you're going to order this food.
And then when the food comes, okay,
it's vicious.
It can be, especially dessert time. Like, I remember when we were.
I'm not even at dessert time. Let me talk about this for a second.
Appetizers.
So, appetizers come out, and so after we've had this kind of discussion about everyone strategically saying, are you ordering that? I'm ordering this. I'm going to order this, and you're going to share that with me. I want a bite of that and a bite of that. And it feels like you almost have to put in like your requests like at an auction in advance. Like, if you want to eat
$10,
you better make sure that you have signed up to have a bite of something or share with something. You're ordering something. And if you ordered it and you're planning on eating the whole thing, you better have notified everyone you're planning on eating the whole thing. Now, the food comes out, and this is the funniest part to me. And this happened several times on vacation with your family. The food comes out, and it might be like, hey, here's plate A. And if someone ordered plate A, oh, that's over here. And maybe someone else ordered plate A, but that other person already jumped on that plate A. And now I have another order of plate A. Oh, that's over here. It is just hysterical, the ownership that comes with the food.
Oh, I mean, when we were younger, it was bad because, like,
share the dessert story.
We would, back in the day, we could only afford to go out to this one nice restaurant like once, and it was the highlight of the trip. And they had these chocolate souffles, and we would only get like 1 or 2 to share. And I have a big family, and so everyone had to get their spoon ready.
I think that's important to say. There's like a minimum of how many people at the table, like 12 people usually.
Oh, on a good day.
On a good, right.
Like,
so
this last trip, it was half of our family, and it was like 12 people.
Right. So it adds to the fuel of all this going on.
And that's just immediate family. But you have to get your spoon ready. And, you had to get
Prepare thyself with thy spoon.
You had to get in there, or else you weren't getting anything. And it was like you had to partner up too. Like, later on, you would like partner up, and it was like, okay, so you like the gooey part, I like the crunchy part. And you like divide the ice cream. No, I know.
It's
your family's so polite.
Well, and then one other thing about the food is not only is there just such ownership of like wanting to taste this food. When they taste this food, you have to read a book before going out to dinner with these people. Like, there is such a vernacular of like, I mean, you kind of watch those videos of like, someone with wine. I smell old leather. Like, that's kind of what it is at times with your family. Like
the sommelier of
like
the food.
The crunch comes just before that little whisper of the seaweed or whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? We're not that bad.
It's not that bad. I'm exaggerating a bit,
but a bit. But yes, we love food.
They talk about it with such love and passion.
Oh,
Which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You can love things. Now, I will say it's very funny because I feel like on this last trip, there was a meal. I was sitting there, I was sitting across from your stepdad, and I was kind of talking to him, but like, they talk about food in this way that I'll never understand. And he was just like,
yep.
yep.
He's so low key. I love him.
I appreciate it. I felt like I wasn't alone in that moment. I
Yeah.
felt seen. Now, all that being said, because your family's obsessed with food, I will say we are very blessed to have some terrific meals.
Yes.
Like the food
is
is
delicious.
delicious
Oh,
and
that
always
Italian
good.
place was so good.
But then they'll talk about it forever.
Oh,
and
it's
then
very memorable.
it's like these are core memories. Like your family's core memories are around food or around the dinner table.
I do have core memories about food.
Like this is an example from this morning. I had a bad dream, and
No,
I had a very tragic dream, and I was sharing with Kayla. I'm like, I had this really bad nightmare. And it was very bad. I'm not going to share it. But then she goes, I also had a weird dream. She's like, you left about $100 worth of meat in the car from Trader Joe's,
I was trying to make you laugh.
and it's spoiled.
I
And
was
I'm
trying
like,
to make you laugh.
I'm like, look, I'm telling you this tragedy, and then you share your tragedy, which
It's not a
revolves around
tragedy.
food.
I was just trying to make you laugh, but I do have a lot of food dreams. It's really weird.
You have dreamed about food at least every other day for the past couple of weeks.
I don't know why. Maybe I'm hungry. Always hungry.
You're always hungry. So the love for food is one of those things I never quite, I don't know if I could ever explain it to someone truly. I've tried to do it here, and I've over-exaggerated a bit in an attempt to kind of share my experience. But it's something that definitely you don't experience in my family because my family never eats, as you pointed out.
Oh my gosh, they never eat, and I'm starving all the time. And I
Kaylin
just feel like
packs.
I'm wasting away when I'm on vacation with your family. And I'm like, can we eat? And your dad wants to eat, but he's not allowed to voice that desire.
There's
He's
no
like
eating
hiding sandwiches in his like cargo shorts.
Oh, he always wears
He has
cargo
granola
shorts.
bars.
There's
in
granola
there.
bars stuffed in there.
Oh yeah.
Because my mom and my brother can go days without
Hours,
eating.
Days.
Yeah, they'll eat
They'll
one
eat
meal a
one
day.
meal a day, and
Not
I just
good for you.
it's not good for you, but I just can't do it.
I will.
So,
I do want to share one more story about food.
oh my gosh!
Now
what?
this is another great
This is
example.
the whole podcast.
It's a good episode. It's like we went on a plane the other day, and Kaylin's like, "I'm going to prepare food for this long flight to go on this family vacation."
It was like a 7-hour flight.
So most people on a 7-hour flight be like, okay, we'll prepare some food, get some snacks, things like that. I'm like, she's like, I'm gonna make some sandwiches. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So I'm thinking in my mind like pretty basic sandwiches, like
They weren't
some cheese or
complicated.
some meat, and maybe like a peanut butter and jelly makes sense. And then Kaylin comes out and she's like, okay, I made pack 2 sandwiches. Can you please describe the sandwiches?
Yes. So we got bread from this really good Italian place by our house that he can eat because it's like made from Italy. Because you have some gluten issues. And I did turkey and cheese with a fig jam and some Dijon mustard. And then I did salami and cheese with an olive tapenade. Sounds fancy, isn't? Grabbed it at Trader Joe's. But it was delicious. I was very happy with our choices. Much better than anything at the airport.
Of course, I will never complain about the food, but I will.
But you do like to
always
joke
give you
about
a hard
it.
time
Yes.
about it.
Well, let's
So.
talk about some of your family differences. This does not necessarily have to do with family vacations, although they do obsess about their dogs on vacation. But I have never met a family who loves their dogs as much as your family. There is so much puppy love in that household. His parents have 3 dogs, London, Paris, and Rome. Yes, very cute. They all have nicknames. And
The European pooches.
the European pooches, they are so well taken care of. I have never met dogs who are treated better than most humans. Like, it is a good life to live that puppy life in your parents' household. Like, they eat better than like most people. Like, they have their kibble and like homemade meat every day. Like, they get their treats. Your mom.
Again, you're focused on the food.
I'm just
I just throw that out there.
just well fed. There's cameras set up in the whole house while we're on vacation, like Ring cameras, so that
Not for security.
not for security, so his mom can check in on the pooches. And they're like, the names of them are hilarious. It's like London's dance party,
No,
or
Rome Spotlight Dance.
Rome Spotlight Dance.
London's Village.
London's Village. They're just like the cutest little dogs. Yeah, I feel so bad because I didn't grow up with pets. So I don't understand this love that is like for a human, but for a dog. Like, I like dogs, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't love them the way your mom loves them. And she knows.
She can tell that
She can
that love
tell.
isn't quite. I mean, I will say my mother is somewhat obsessive about her dogs. Now the dogs are somewhat obsessive about her though.
Oh, they adore her. They cannot live without her. They have like anxiety when we go on vacation
Yes.
to where they're like eat at their little
To
skin.
literally where the veterinarian said you should probably get your dogs registered as a like a what is it called when you need a
like an emotional support pet
emotional support pet. But my mom is the emotional support human
for the dog.
For the dog. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, it is a little different. Now, however,
It's obsessive. I mean, you even told me on our first date that you will never love a woman as much as you loved your childhood dog, Mai Tai.
she's right over there.
To like her picture, not
Yes.
not her ashes. May she rest in peace. And then I think when our daughter was born, you were like, "Oh, okay, I love her more."
I love her more than Mai Tai.
And
She's
then-
the only one. I'm joking. No, we are a little. If you came back, not that reincarnation is real, but if it was, and he came back as a dog
in your
in
household,
my family's house, that's a great life.
it's a really good life.
I mean, there's a lot of time and care and just love.
They
You
they
so
go to like
much love.
physical therapy.
They don't. I'm going to share this. They don't sleep on dog beds.
Oh, they sleep.
And
in
they
your-
don't sleep
they
on
sleep
the
in
on
your
the floor.
parents' room.
Not only do they sleep in my parents' room, they have a separate bed.
It's like
it's a
human
human-sized
bed.
normal mattress that is dedicated to them. However, only one of them sleeps on there. The other two still sleep in the bed with my parents. But it is a good life.
But I mean, you could say that we're obsessive about other things in our family.
You could. Okay. This one blew my mind. When Kayla and I were dating. Now,
Pre-kids.
obviously, we didn't have children because we're dating. We're not married yet. And I would go over to their house, and she has an older sister who has two little ones. And they're kids. And then how old were they when we were dating?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Well,
Like-
one wasn't
like-
even born yet.
So the
2, 3,
2-3 age,
and then a
young
baby.
kids,
Yeah.
young kids. We would go over there for like family dinner sometimes, and I just didn't understand this. I honestly felt like these kids are the eighth wonder of the world, and I was the only one who didn't know it. And like,
You just didn't get it yet.
I didn't understand it. I've never been a huge kid person
And you
until
don't
I had a kid.
you don't
And
have nieces.
To be honest, I still don't like kids. I like my kid. I don't like
But
anyone else's
you might
kid.
like your nieces and nephews.
Well, I mean, I like my family, like family kids. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't adore
You
children.
were like, they're cute, but I don't get why everyone's obsessive
So
over them.
we would eat dinner, and then they'd be like, okay, what are we going to do now? And I'm thinking, like, let's play a board game. Let's, like, chat. Let's do something. No. Let's gather around the couch, and let's all watch as the little ones play. And just watch in silence. And I was, it was just like this thing, and they're like, oh, my goodness.
She's so
Look
cute.
how cute. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, what is going on?
You understand now, though.
I get it with my daughter. I understand it now.
And your family thinks our daughter is the eighth wonder of the world.
Yes, and they do the exact same thing now. So I will say I do now understand
But at the time,
what was going on. But at the time, as a young man, as a good-looking young man sitting there around the couch being like, why are we all just staring at the kids? They're kids. They're going to crawl. They're going to stall. They're going to stand up. They're
You're
going to
like-
put the puzzle piece in.
you're like, this
it's
isn't
not rocket science.
this isn't that remarkable.
No, there's nothing mind-blowing about what's going on here.
But now you get it.
I get it more now.
Yeah.
I would say I understand it now.
Yeah.
I have appreciation for, I love our daughter, and I am in awe of her. Now, at the same time, though, I wouldn't say I could sit there for hours staring at her. I could have a conversation with you and be with her, or be actively engaged with her. Yes.
But just not like
But-
sitting there on the sidelines,
But just
like
not being like,
watching
oh
her.
my goodness, look at how cute they are. Like, just, oh. Like, I could do that for about 15 minutes with her, probably.
Okay.
30 minutes. But did you ever think it was weird?
No. Because I think she's the cutest. I love my niece.
Yeah, I know.
I
I
was
mean,
obsessed with her
they're-
the moment she was
Listen,
born.
I love them. I think they're great, but I just don't get I'm going to watch them do life. and
I
just be
yeah.
in awe of it.
I mean, I was also there like when she was born, and I was
Right.
over at her house like all the time.
And I
with
never
her.
was around kids until
Our daughter.
your family. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, until our daughter, but
And
even
oh
to your
yeah,
niece and nephew. Like
yeah,
I was the oldest sibling, so I had little like younger siblings, but I never was like around little kids with the big age gap
yeah,
where they're not my kids.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was kind of interesting to me. And I told you about it when we were dating. I'm like,
You're
I
like,
don't
why are we
understand
staring
why
at
we
the
stare
kids?
at the
And I was like,
kids.
you just don't get it because they're like not your.
She was very
family
dismissive
yet.
about it, but it's true. I didn't understand it because they weren't my family yet. So,
But now they're cute.
but back to my family.
Back to your family. Okay, so when we go on vacation with your family, we usually go some places where there are crowds of people. And your family will like mow people down. Like, watch out, we're coming through. Like, they're like, it's like a strategy. There's like definitely a strategy walking through a crowd with your family.
It's very
And
tactical.
it is to protect us and our daughter. But it's so funny because it'll be like the dad goes ahead and he like builds a wall and like mows people over sometimes.
Oh, if you're in the
to
way, you're
make
being knocked down.
Like, pay attention, people. He's coming through. And then we like come in, and then like your mom and your brother like flank the sides. It's really hilarious. I've never seen a family do this. It's so protective and like just
Now, often
and
this is taking place like at a
like
at a
Disney
Disney
World
or an
kind of a
amusement park
place.
type of crowd, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there is definitely my dad goes in front and he is the bulldozer, and we say just create a lane, and then everyone else follows, and then someone brings up the rear, and it is like marching a battalion down the street.
It is, and I've never seen people do it, or it's like get in line, like we're coming through.
I think that has something to do with a house full of men.
It's definitely more aggressive. Like, I grew up in a house full of sisters and like one brother, but mostly sisters. So it was just like more like, oh, it's okay, you can go in front. It's like, no, we were here. We were here.
This is our place.
This is our spot.
I talk about the elevator.
Oh, and okay, and then when we go, like, you're at the airport and you're like getting your luggage and you're going into the elevator, like his dad will stand at the front so that like there's plenty of room in the elevator. They just don't like other people, I
It's
think.
a private ride.
This is a private ride.
Sorry.
Well, also it's like you never know if they're sick people or whatever.
And my
Your
family
your
is
family-
obsessive about avoiding sick people.
Yeah,
as am I.
There's like codes. If someone's coughing, you like run the other way and they shout out this code. I don't think it's that discreet, but like whatever.
No, because we're all like code H, and someone's
and then they're like like code H. Hacker alert,
escape.
escape, run the other way.
So
And then they're mowing people down in the crowd to get away from people. It's so aggressive. And I'm not used to it. I'm like so polite. So it's like, why are we blocking the elevator? Why are we mowing people down? Like,
yeah. Or
and
like
then
we get in the elevator and we're like
close-
people are
you're
coming
like,
trying to
I'm
catch
trying
the
to hold
elevator.
it. I'm trying to
You're
hold
like
it.
holding that close button.
But you're like, oh, I was trying to.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It didn't work.
Kind of horrible. It's not very nice.
Oh, it's not the right thing to do, but it is very funny. makes for good podcast content. Again,
boy.
I think that has something to do with growing up in a house full of men. Like, my mom and my grandma were stuck with, three boys at home, plus my
And
dad,
dad.
plus my grandpa. So
And I don't think they're like timid people either.
my
Your
mom and my grandma.
No.
My grandma would be the first one. Close that elevator door. I don't want anyone else in here. She was probably the most aggressive. She would walk in front. There'd be a line. She's like, I ain't gonna wait in that line. She would walk to the front and be like, excuse me. And she just, if she had a question or something, she would cut a line. Oh,
Did
would
she?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh my goodness.
She's like, I'm not gonna wait in that line again. I'll go to the front and ask them the question. She'd go up there, and then she'd have taken care of whatever it is. I'm like, did you have to wait long? No, I just went to the front.
I'd be mortified. I'd be like, oh gosh, Mom, Grandma, no. Like, don't do that.
We're very assertive people.
Yeah,
Very
and
assertive
I'm just
people.
not. So
And with being assertive people, it also makes a house never quiet, which goes to my next thing with your family. The sound of silence. I've never encountered a house, a car ride, a dinner where you could hear a needle drop. And it is
a pin?
yes, thank you, a pin drop. I I think it's because I grew up in a house with, again, like I just shared,
Your house is
chaos, constant chaos.
I don't.
Three boys. My grandparents have lived with us since I was like 8. So you had
three boys, grandparents,
and
parents,
at least 2 or 3 dogs at any given moment.
dogs.
Plus, there was a bird in there. There was some fish in there. There's
Oh
a bunch
my
of animals in
goodness.
there. But so there's just never been a moment of
Chaos.
quiet in my house. So when I first started vacationing with your family, I remember, I think we were taking a car ride somewhere. I don't know where we're going, but I remember the car ride was just
Like we were quiet. Nobody was talking.
no one was talking.
Well, your family doesn't stop talking.
Yes,
Like
that's accurate.
silence makes them uncomfortable.
That is, now I will say that is true, especially with my mother, and I love her. But if there's silence, she'll start humming, and she doesn't think anyone else can hear her hum. And I'm always like, "Mom, we can all hear you humming." And I was like, "Oh, you can hear me?" And I'm like, "Yes, we can hear you."
God bless her.
So yes, there is a thing in my family where I think everyone is scared of silence. With that being said, I think I'm very comfortable in silence,
You are,
even
but
though I come from a family who isn't comfortable with silence.
yes, you are comfortable with it.
But
But you're
sometimes
also
your family's silence is so long. Like it's not like a couple minutes. Sometimes it can go on for a long time. And I'll say this: I'm never one in a situation to feel pressed to like make conversation, and I really don't with your family. But at first, when we first started dating, and I wasn't used to the kind of
the silence. You were
the
like,
silence, I
you're
was
like, I should make.
should I be saying something right now?
Yeah.
Should I be doing like when you're in the dating phase and
You're trying to prove yourself.
you're trying to prove yourself
or
and
get to know people.
right, and you want to be out there and stuff. Everyone's kind of quiet. Like, should I make a conversation? Should I start something up right now? Are we sitting in silence? Is this a comfortable silence? Are we mad at each other? Like, I think it's just the
and my
processing
family,
of what's going on.
My family, I mean, that's a whole nother thing, but like my family doesn't talk about the conflict. So the silence could be like, there could be something going on.
And maybe that's it. Maybe it's trying to define what kind of silence it is, and it's not always clear.
What silence are we experiencing?
Is
Is
this
this
a
a passive
angry
aggressive
silence?
silence? Is this just a
Content silence?
we're tired silence?
Right.
I don't know.
There's different type of silences. So identifying that silence was kind of tricky when we first start dating. Now, I would say we can drive in the car with your family, and I don't feel at all pressure or anything. But those early days, it is something that you definitely, I experienced and I felt. And so I'm sure someone else out there who may be going through that same thing.
What
So
would your advice be to them?
embrace the silence and try to find the silence. Now, I will say there are times where I've broken the silence and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I should have broken that silence. Like maybe this, maybe that was an intentional silence. So just sit in the silence.
Sit in the silence.
This is kind of here's my 411 for people out there going off that subject of you're getting to know maybe your partner or something. You never want to feel like you're injecting yourself into conversations too often. I'm big on that. I'm always big about sharing, like putting the spotlight on someone else. I never like to really talk
You like
about
to ask
myself.
questions.
I like to ask questions.
Yeah.
Don't like to necessarily, go off on a rant about me or my experiences.
Unless asked.
And so I usually in those experiences, I've always asked for the parent or for the sibling to start asking me questions. And then that gives me permission to share my life a bit more. And I'll, open up on it. But I'm mainly be inquisitive about someone else. If you're inquisitive about someone else, I would find more times often than not, they become inquisitive about you, and then you get to know each other. So I always think that asking questions is the best way to kind of deal with those situations. But if there's silence, just sit in the silence.
Sit in the silence. Well, with your family, there is a total lack of alone time. And as someone who I would say is a extroverted introvert, I do like my alone time to recharge. And that is not the case with your family on vacation. Like everybody is in everybody's business all the time. And this is like everywhere. Like they pee with the door open and like keep talking, like conversations keep happening. Like
not all the time.
Not all the time.
But there have been times where my mother will go to the restroom. I'm just going to use the restroom. Keep talking.
Keep talking. Sorry, I left the door open. I'll walk by. Also, like, this is totally off topic, but like, I'll be like in your house and your paw always seems to be right there. Like, I'm going to the bathroom and he's always in that hallway, that one hallway. And he's like, hi, it's your paw. Like, he's always there. But yes, there's lack of alone time on vacation. Everyone is like on my family, yes, we have meal times together, but there's also like some freedom to go and explore and do your own thing during the day sometimes, unless we have like an activity planned.
Right.
Where your
Usually
family,
it's like the moments with your family are kind of like we do breakfast together. You kind of get some time with your spouse or whatever.
or like
and
whatever
then-
you guys need to do, like they understand.
Right.
And then it's like meal time and then the same kind of thing.
And then mealtime.
But your family, it's like we're doing everything together
Yes.
always. And like you can't go in the other room to
Good.
have a moment to yourself because they'll find you.
Well, I think I always thought it was so interesting when I was a kid. I used to go to my friend's house and I'd be like, gosh, you spend a lot of time up here in your room.
And
they're
you like
they're
never went in your room.
They're like, yeah, it's my room. And they go, don't you spend time in your room? I'm like, no, I'm never in my bedroom. I sleep in there and like go there to do like homework. But for the most part, my family is in the family area,
like
in the
when
living
you're
area,
home with them,
24/7.
yes, you are expected to be in the living room with his family. Like you cannot just like go to your room. Like that was not.
If you go to your room, someone will go there and check on you. Like, are you okay? You feeling okay? What's
Yeah.
wrong? It's
I remember when I first started dating, like your family's also just different, and it's like like high energy and a lot, and like
Yes.
different than what I was used to. So I feel like I sometimes, and there's like playful bickering or like
there's
teasing.
constant ribbing, I would
Yeah,
say.
constant ribbing, and it like
Again, House of Boys.
it's a little exhausting when you're not used to it. So like I remember in the beginning I would have to like go into the other room to like recharge and like be like like this is a lot.
It's a lot. It's like my brother the other day. I was asking to borrow his dumbbell. And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. I'm just going to grab 15 pounds and bring it down. He's like,
Why even bother? 15 pounds. What is that even doing?
But it's that kind of comment constantly. And I don't think Kayla knew what to do with it at first.
No, I didn't. And like, I mean, and then it's like, you're teasing me. You tease me more when we're with your family.
Yeah,
Because
probably.
everyone is like,
Everyone's
in that,
teasing each other, though.
yeah, because everyone's teasing each other, but I feel like it's constant, and I'm like, oh my god, I like take it so personally, and then you're like, what's wrong? And I'm like crying because I don't know how to handle it. Anyway, there's definitely no time to yourself. Like everyone's in the car together, everyone's going on here, there, everywhere.
Now you have the opportunity if you were to say like, hey, we're gonna go do this as a family. They're totally cool with it.
I think
But it's definitely more the exception than the rule.
Now they're more okay with it.
Yeah.
Like with a kid, they're very understanding of like, oh, you guys need to do that. Like we understand.
I think it's
But
just
the expectation, I think, when we were single was like, you're coming with us wherever we go.
right, because that was just the expectation of the family. I think that goes to how there can be such drastic differences between your family and the family of your partner. And these are all kind of funny examples of that. But as Caitlin said at the beginning of this, you do really have to understand and acknowledge and accept that if you're going to marry your partner, you're also marrying
their family. For better or for worse.
and being okay with that. And it's okay for families to be drastically different. I would say that in a way, our families could not be more opposite than what they are. Now, but with that being said,
But
they
they're
share
lovely.
something very important. They share very similar values.
They do. And they
And-
love us.
And they love us and they love God, and they very much hold themselves to the same set of values, I would say.
Yeah.
And so that is the defining factor of what keeps them similar, although drastically different in
Yeah.
just about every other way.
Yeah.
And so I think when you really boil this down, not to make this serious at the end, but it's about finding a
should.
family and finding a spouse whose family, one, you can accept and one you can acknowledge and love, but also making sure that their values are aligned with your values. And that might not always add up. Your family might not be the perfect values and there might not be the perfect values, but you have to be aware of that and accept it
Yeah.
before you get into a serious relationship.
Mhm.
Is that too deep?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty deep.
Too much?
Well, I mean,
Should we not go there?
I don't know. I mean, you could go there. That's a whole nother can of worms because, like,
We're just talking about it on the topic, though.
okay.
We're not
okay.
going to go too
We're
deep.
not going to go too deep on
I'll
it.
just leave it at that.
Okay,
Does that
sounds
feel good?
That feels good.
Do we need like a joke to close this, or do we just
Do you
close it?
have one?
Um,
No, you don't. It's fine.
I
Let's
don't
just
know
close
the
it.
top tippity top of my
Tippity
tongue.
top,
Well,
tippity top of your tickety tack.
thank you for watching the show. If you like it, you can subscribe. You can click the bell. You'll be notified when we drop a new show. You can follow us on socials.
TikTok, Instagram,
Yeah.
X.
We're not on
Oh, we're
Twitter
not
or
on
X.
Twitter yet?
But no, we're not. We're not
Oh,
there.
we should be there. That would be fun.
I only have so many times, so much time for the 5 minutes I give attention to this project that we're doing. But follow us over there. If you like the show, please comment. Please let us know what you want us to talk about.
Thanks, Mom, for listening.
Yeah.
We love you.
Outside of that, I'm Justin.
Kaylin.
Catch you later.
Bye.